तब रिजल्ट भी नहीं आया था, वैसे मतलब इतना नर्वसनेस हो रही थी, पसीना आ रहा था, बहुत एंजाइटी हो रही थी।
ब्यूटीफुल, परफेक्ट। आपने दो चीजें बोली एंड आई विल नहीं, डोंट फील एनी प्रेशर। मैं तो आई लव स्टैंडिंग एंड दैट्स फाइन। बेटर। So there are two things. Number one, you almost proved what the way is. कि जब self doubt होता है ना, the only thing that will get you out of that is to keep working. क्योंकि जिस दिन रुक गए ना, वो self doubt ऐसा हावी हो जाएगा कि छोड़ेगा नहीं। लेकिन आप एग्जाम देते रहे, हो गया, and you are here today. So that's part one. The pro is the amateur that showed up every day. Yeah. But that's not the complete part. Here's the second part, and that's true for almost all of us. When we get something, for example, you got through SRCC, the finest commerce college in this country. You in your head are like, मुझे नहीं पता ये मुझे कैसे मिला. I just got lucky. I don't know. And if you do not know how you got something in life, you will always be scared of losing it. And finding yourself in that same spot again. It's what happens in relationships. We're in a relationship, let's say a love relationship, and we are so possessive, and the reason we are is because we don't know how we got him or her in the first place. We lucked out. मुझे नहीं पता ये मुझसे क्यों बात करती है, मुझे लगता है गलती भी नहीं है, but I'm hoping you करती है. And I cannot afford to lose her because I don't know how to get to the same spot again. So if I were to ask you, which year are you in, Ritik?
First year.
First year. Okay, abhi shuruaat hi hai. So I'm like, you know what, Ritik? Go back last year and get into SRCC again. तुम्हारी फट जाएगी. You'll be like, नहीं हो पाएगा, right? पैसे ले लो, ये मत करो. And that is because what you haven't done, which is not a fault of yours, but you have to get to it. This is true for everyone, not just him. If you are at a point in life where you got something that you really wanted, you have to figure out how you got that in the first place. You have to step in your path and to actually figure out how did it happen. क्योंकि हाँ उसमें luck होगा, हाँ उसमें कुछ डेस्टिनी होगी, अगर आप विश्वास करते हैं या नहीं, लेकिन कुछ तो आपने ऐसा किया जिसकी वजह से वो हुआ. And if you don't retrace your path to get to that answer, you're actually not aware of the playbook you have for success. जो आपकी playbook है ऋतिक, किसी और की नहीं है, वो करण की नहीं हो सकती, वो सिर्फ आप ही की है. And that is the only way it will happen. Retrace your path. It's like जब भी जिंदगी में होता है ना कि यार मेरी जिंदगी इतनी अच्छी चल रही है कि मैं डरा हुआ हूँ ये कब खत्म हो जाएगी. And we're always living in this perpetual paralyzed fear कि इतनी अच्छी जिंदगी चल रही है कि कुछ तो फटने वाला है, क्योंकि हो ही नहीं सकता इतना खुश कोई मैंने आंसर नहीं रखा. So you have to do yourself a favor and retrace the path, almost like a detective, almost like an independent observer, to say how did Ritik make that happen, and write it down, make it into a book. क्योंकि जिंदगी में किसी ना किसी पॉइंट पे ना ये फिर से काम आएगा. When you will again be faced, let's say you want to do, and of course you will, let's say you want to go for an MBA, or शायद दिमाग खराब हो गया, you want to become a CA, whatever the case is. And you're again experiencing self-doubt. You're like, nahi ho payega. I can't make it. I'm not in that 1%. I'm not in that category. I have so many smart people around me all across. You go back to it. You read it. And you figure out, you know what? When I was paralyzed with fear right before my SRCC exam, here is something that I did which I think worked for me. And I have to do it again. And I have to do it again. And I have to do it again. And every single time you conquer something, you add to that repertoire. And 5 साल के अंदर, can you imagine Ritik कि आपके पास एक पूरी कुंजी होगी ऑफ, जैसे हमारे DU में लास्ट 10 साल के क्वेश्चन पेपर में आंसर होते हैं, वही कुंजी आप अपनी जिंदगी के लिए बनाएंगे कि मुझे पता है कि मैंने पिछले 5 साल हर एक इंपॉर्टेंट जिंदगी का इम्तिहान कैसे पास किया है, और अगर मैं फिर से वही चीज करूंगा तो इट्स क्वाइट लाइकली कि मैं फिर से पास हो जाऊंगा. And that's it. That's life. So what people call experience is basically just an instinct around what works for me. Some people do a very programmed job of that. वो बिल्कुल मद्दे नजर रखते हुए हर एक चीज नोट करके उसको बार-बार रिपीट करते हैं, so that it becomes so natural for them to know how to act. And कुछ लोग flippantly उसको करते हैं, and that's the difference in the quality of experience. That's it. लेकिन experience वही है. क्योंकि आपका सही आंसर है, किसी और का नहीं. किसी और के लिए वो आंसर काम कर सकता था, लेकिन शायद आपके लिए नहीं. So the only thing that truly works in life, and this is a 40-year-old giving you in whatever way I can life advice, इसकी जिंदगी में डिसीजन लेना कभी भी बंद मत करिएगा. डिसीजन लेने से कभी मत डरिएगा, क्योंकि डिसीजन ले लिया और खुदा ना खास्ता अगर वो काम नहीं किया, you can always come back to where you were. You're smart enough, privileged enough, fortunate enough कि जिंदगी में आप भूखे नंगे नहीं मरने वाले. आपकी जिंदगी में ऐसे कभी भी कोई भी त्राही वाला मोमेंट नहीं आएगा जिसकी वजह से आप सड़कों पे पहुंच जाएंगे. Your base is covered. The upside is infinite. It's a brilliant game. Imagine, sorry, I'm taking a lot longer than I should. Imagine if I'm a casino owner and I come to you कि मेरी casino में एक बहुत बढ़िया game है. Here is how it works. You play the game, and 90% of the times you will lose the game. 90% of the times you will lose the game. However, your loss is capped. आप एक अमाउंट से नीचे कभी भी नहीं हारेंगे. आप मैक्सिमम उतना ही अमाउंट हारेंगे जितना मैंने ऑलरेडी डिटरमिन किया हुआ है. लेकिन the 10% times that you win, you can win infinite. There is no ceiling. You can win as much as you could in that moment. My question to you is, how many times will you keep playing that game? My answer is every single day of my life. I will play that game every single day of my life, because all that I need is just that 10% to one day work and give me that infinite upside. क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि मेरा लॉस तो कैप्ड है, तो चाहे मैं जितनी बार भी हारूं, इससे ज्यादा नहीं हारूंगा. And that is actually life for all of us. हम यहाँ डोगरा हॉल, IIT Delhi campus, right in the center of this city, in the capital of the fastest growing economy, in the youngest country in the world में बैठे हुए हैं. हमारा लॉस ना कैप्ड है. We are never going to have an outcome which will be as disastrous as millions of people in this world may suffer from. We're already blessed, but our upside is infinite, and you have to play this game every single day. You are, and all of those, what is it that you're scared of? That people in your class will laugh at you? Fuck them. Genuinely. Because at the end of it, I often ask college kids, what is it that you are really scared of? How many of you here are in college? I see all of you? Yeah, perfect. Fuck तो बाहर से आए हम, पता नहीं क्या बात कर रहे हैं. I often ask college kids, what is it that you're scared of? And I get a lot of answers. One of the biggest answers is public speaking. And they're like, आप ना बड़ा अच्छा बोलते हैं आपको. And अगर हम 10% भी आपके जैसे कम्युनिकेटर बन गए ना, जिंदगी सेट हो जाएगी. And like, thank you so much firstly. What is stopping you? इस स्टेज पे आके खड़े क्यों नहीं हो रहे हो? नहीं, डर लगता है, कुछ बोल दिया तो लोग क्या कहेंगे, ऑडियंस हंसेगी. And I'm like, जब आप यहाँ खड़े हुए हैं और आपकी फटी हुई है and लोग फिर आप पे हंस रहे हैं, जीत कौन रहा है? वो कि आप. You're the one winning. You're the one who's facing your fear, standing here, despite everything in your head telling you don't do it, and they're the ones who laughing. It's very easy to be the audience. It's very easy to be the audience. It's very easy to watch a cricket match and say, fuck you, Virat, ye chauka tha. But it takes a completely different mind to be here. to be in the arena, to actually be in the middle of everyone's attention. And if you stand here, you will lose 100%. There is no way you're going to win on your first try. But if you continue standing here and showing up, you will win over everyone who is going to laugh at you saying, "Oh, dekho ghada, apna mazak badwana." And that is the simple game of life. There isn't much more complexity to it. It's just the person who shows up. One of my favorite quotes from my first book, Do Epic Shit, is the pro is the amateur that showed up every day. The pro is the amateur that showed up every day. That's the difference. There is nothing else. Really large companies facing people whose faces I've seen on the covers of newspapers and magazines until now, telling them on how they should be running their business. Basis the Excel sheet that I have made, basis my understanding of their business, of which I had no idea until 2 weeks back. And I was like, how does this make sense? I'm 26 years of age. You worked in this company for longer than I've lived on this planet. This relationship is unequal, sir. You should be throwing me out of the room. But they weren't throwing me out of the room for some reason. And that is one persona, which is you're able to hold your weight because of some magical thing that someone has given you. And then there is this another persona, which is I just go into a shell. I just do my work. मैं ज़्यादा शोर नहीं मचाऊंगा, मैं ज़्यादा लोगों से दोस्ती नहीं करूंगा, मैं ज़्यादा पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं घुसूंगा, मैं ज़्यादा गॉसिप में एंगेज नहीं करूंगा, काम करूंगा, घर चला जाऊंगा, नेटफ्लिक्स देखूंगा, मैं जिंदगी जी लूंगा. And that becomes the second mode. But both of these are maybe not true to who you are. And then you're constantly struggling. You hate your job. Every lunch break, you're like, job chhod dunga, job chhod dunga. Aaj hi job chhod dunga. But you never get that courage because the world is always telling you, तुम IIT से हो, तुम ये जॉब नहीं छोड़ सकते, तुम्हें ये दुनिया बदलनी है. वो देखो सारे IIT क्या क्या कर चुकी है. वो distinguished alumni award तुमने ही जीतना है. And you're constantly just drinking that Kool-Aid. And you're convincing yourself that you're meant for bigger things and bigger things and bigger things without even realizing who the fuck you are. Long story short, there is, in my opinion, the need for young Indians to be life ready. To actually train them onto what is it that life is going to throw at them. And that is hopefully what I'm trying to do. There are multiple ways of doing that. I start with online courses. Tomorrow it may be a fellowship, it may be a university. I may be doing this on the IIT Delhi campus, who knows? But the idea is that there is enough and more that is going to happen in this country in the next 10, 20 years. 300 million people are going to join the workforce in the next decade. 300 million people. A number that no other country has experienced in the past ever in a decade. We are either going to make it like no other country ever has, or if these 300 people do not figure out how to manage themselves, we're fucked. And everything is on you. Every single one of you is going to play a role into making this dream unfold or this nightmare unfold in front of us. And who knows what's going to happen. I just want to play a small role in making that happen, hopefully in the right direction.
I knew that there was a reality check coming. I didn't know that Ankur Warikoo would do that to all of us here. But yeah, I think it's great that you were